Hey, my lovely goal-getters. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I'm your host, Amie Pederson, business mentor and confidence coach for the emerging boss mom. It's my mission to help amazing women just like you up-level yourself and your business because you are meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry. I'm also a wife, mother, urban farmer, influencer, green juice enthusiast, and an unapologetic lover of cowboy boots. I can't wait to help you grow your business by sharing my tips, tricks, proven business strategy, experience, and incredible guests. Hang on tight and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends and educational partners over at Podia. That's Podia.com. And the cool thing about Podia is that they are a super user-friendly platform that is basically all in one. It takes care of your email marketing, whether you are setting up an automation or you are sending out a one-time newsletter. They take care of hosting a membership site, so you don't have to use social media to host your memberships. They also take care of your digital downloads. So this works perfect for opt-ins and freebies and helping you grow your business and drive your traffic that way. They also take care of hosting your courses, where you can put in all of your courses and give access. You can actually also collect payment through Podia. It's amazing. It's so all-in-one, and it's so easy to use, and it's so intuitive. The best part is they have amazing customer support. Hands down, some of the best customer support I have ever experienced. And I've tried a lot of things out there. The great thing that they've done for us is, even though they already have a stellar, super low, affordable, like no-brainer price, their pricing is actually much lower for their highest level. They have two different levels, mover and shaker. That's still more affordable every month than some of these other guys' most affordable programs. So, and you get a lot more stuff. You get the email, you get all of the hosting, you get everything. They also have little templates in there that you can use if you're setting up a basic sales page, and they just make it so easy. They make the flow so easy, and they've given us a discount. So all of the listeners of today's show, not only are you going to get their already low pricing, but they've also agreed to give you an additional 15% off for life. So regardless of which program that you decide to go with, whether it's the mover or the shaker, you'll get that 15% off. Even if you bounce in between the two, you'll still get that 15% off forever. They also have an introduction where if you use the same code, you can also hop in, take a look around, get your free trial, no credit card required, see if you love it, and I'm sure you will. And then when you do decide, yep, I love it, which might be the same day, you can go ahead and get started with your discount, that lifetime discount of 15%, and get creating and get your sales and all of your automation started. So I hope that you enjoy Podia as much as I do. Happy creating! All right, everybody, I am super excited today to have one of my mentors and one of my favorite people in the entrepreneurial space on the show today. I have Taylor Lee, business mentor, and I am so excited that she is going to be part of this show. And she's going to take us through her journey a little bit too, of what it really takes to become a successful business mentor in the online space in this day and age. So Taylor, take it away and tell us a little bit about what got you started on this journey to becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to do this episode. So basically, I started my online business while I was in college, which is kind of funny because I always said that I would not have a business because my dad had a business and he was super busy with it and worked really hard. And I just from seeing that, I thought having going to school, getting a real job would come with more freedom, which is kind of funny because that's exactly the opposite of what everybody else is thinking. I just had a different outlook on it. But anyway, so while I was in college, I really wanted to find a way to be making some extra money without having to follow a very strict schedule because I was going to school, I was going home on the weekends, I was doing all sorts of stuff all over the place in a long distance relationship, all the things. So I just found, I never heard of it before, but I found like online freelancing, and I started offering services like my first job was as simple as just scheduling somebody's social media posts. So I didn't have a lot of skill sets at that point, but I figured out what I could offer and I just started selling that. And then from there, kind of to fast forward the story, I ended up having a couple of clients that were coaches and finding the coaching world, and it kind of just clicked because at that point I had been doing freelancing for a year and a half. I learned every strategy in the book. I had done every single thing like possible you could ever do in an online business. I started doing all that stuff for my clients. And I was like, you know what? I'm already strategizing with my clients for free on the phone. And coaching is a thing that I've never heard of. I need to get into this. So then I started coaching.
Yeah. That's so crazy, especially because it's like the road that we take sometimes isn't the road that we always think we're going to take. So, but look at you. Luckily, you took it and you're out changing lives every single day. How exciting is that?
I know. It's so funny that you say that because I've been thinking a lot about this whole like when I teach a lot of things like mistakes I made and wins I've had and things that were easy and things that were hard. But it's been such like a natural evolution at the same time. And, I think what I really take away from that time period now is like, just follow the nudges, but also just try it. I didn't overthink it. I just signed up for a freelance site and applied for a couple of jobs. Like, all right, let's see, this is interesting. And I gave it a shot. And then from there, every time I raised my rates or took on a new type of job or learned a new skill, it was always just that. And even when I started my coaching business, it was like, well, I might as well try it. And I've made some big mistakes that way too, but they all led to really important lessons. So I think that's just like so important is just try it. We take it a little too serious sometimes and want it to be perfect first and have the whole plan and all of that.
Yeah. And it's important to take your business seriously, but I think we can get wrapped up in every little detail. And well, at least I know I can be an overthinker for sure.
Yeah, I think it just depends, like, especially when you're at the point where it's like, you just really don't know, you don't have all the clarity yet. Right. I think sometimes the best way to get clarity is just to try something. And then you at least learn like, okay, that was great. I like this. Or nope, I'm going to try something new.
Agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your, when you got started with your business and, definitely wasn't the path that you had originally decided you were going to take, going into college and all of that. Tell me what kind of obstacles you feel like you had to overcome to get from just starting out to where you are now.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest ones was really just embracing who I was. And, my biggest insecurity at that time was my age, because I would look around and I was 20 years old coaching.
Right.
And talking about business and marketing and money and all this stuff. So I would look around and most of the other coaches, safe to say, were at least a little bit older and definitely had more experience and all those things. So that for a long time felt like my dirty little secret. Nobody could find out. I was so terrified people would find out my age. And then, of course, with that comes all these little thoughts, any insecurity you have, then it's you notice everything. It's I look young. I sound young. I don't have a good enough vocabulary. I don't talk well enough. I suck at video. And it's so easy for it to spiral. But I'll tell you, it was really hard and really scary. But once I just shared, as silly as it may sound to some, my age and all the other things I was insecure about, and then just started embracing it because that is who I am. It's just the facts of it. Oh my gosh, it was so relieving. And of course, while I was so scared that people wouldn't accept it, it became a huge part of my brand and what people love me for. And it attracted a lot of clients. I mean, that was the point in my business where my coaching finally fully booked out instead of just one client at a time. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, that was huge for me.
I feel like it's really easy to slip into that mindset, and not even like, probably without even knowing it, of this is how I should show up. I should say these things, and I should look like this image of a quote unquote coach, and I should be having this type of branding and this type of thing. And I say that because I have the rose gold type of branding, but it's not the drinking champagne by the Eiffel Tower type of brand, right? Mine's
Right.
more like, it really goes good with my pink plaid shirt. But I feel like for a while in the beginning, that's what coaching was all about, that you had to portray yourself as a luxury brand, and, getting to that Eiffel Tower drinking champagne lifestyle, if you will, in your ball gown, of course. But
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
but that's not real.
It's not. And there are people who live such beautiful, luxurious lives, for sure. But everybody has a taste of real life, family drama and a messy house sometimes, and things go wrong. And, we all have trips that were meant to be luxurious, and the flight stuff happens. And then you look around and it just feels like, I remember too, like, of course my age, but I was also living, in a apartment that was not something I would show off, but then looking at these photos of people's beautiful kitchens and like their beautiful offices and these beautiful photo shoots. And most of them aren't even in their actual homes, which is fine. But, I was so crazy obsessed with that stuff for a minute, where it was like, when I would go on video or take a picture or whatever, I just wanted to be behind like a blank wall behind me. Like, I didn't want anybody to see anything. It was like kind of like this fear of like being found out, of just being like a normal person.
Right. Yes. And speaking normally, and just, like, I felt like for a while, even for myself, like, maybe I should hire a copywriter, because like they'll know what to say. And instead of just being my own weird self and saying the weird things that I wanted to say.
Exactly. I talk about that all the time with my clients, because the thing is that it's crazy. I used to just freak out about how I would get off a live stream and be like, oh my God, that made no sense. I stumbled over my words. I didn't get to the point fast enough. I rambled, like this distracted me, that distracted me. And then I would kind of have a mini panic attack, and I'd go to delete it. And, for a while I had no comments, but eventually it gets to the point where it's like, then you might think like you made no sense, and you just hit home for somebody. Right. You know what I mean? Like the way you talk and the way you explain things and the way you teach, it does work for some people. And I tell my own clients, I'm like, some people could not coach for me or do my programs. I just don't make sense to them. But then other people like you, I say, you've heard all this stuff a million times, and just the way I say it makes complete sense finally, and it all gets to click into place. So there's room for all of us, no matter how we show up or talk or teach or any of that stuff.
Absolutely. If you could give one tip to somebody about really just being true to themselves and showing up, I don't want to use the word like showing up in their authentic self, but like showing up in a way that's like legit who they are, what would that be? Like maybe something to let go of, or.
Oh man. Well, the tip that I really like to give, that I know people don't want to do this, but the thing that you have been most insecure about lately, whether like me, that was my age at that time, maybe for someone on here, it's their messy house or whatever, like just show it. Just get it out of the way and show it and own it. It is like, you'll feel all the weight being lifted from your shoulders, and nobody's going to write you off and think that you are now terrible because you're younger than them or you have a messy house or whatever. So that's my favorite tip to give. Just let it out. Share the one thing you've been most insecure about. You're going to feel amazing after.
I love that. And those things are like the things that really do speak to a lot of people, but they're the hardest ones to like
sit down and let your fingers do the walking type of thing and let that out. It is so hard.
I know. I've had some clients who they're rocking it in their business, but they're still at a stage where they're like working their full-time job or a part-time job or whatever. And they're terrified for anyone to find out they have another job. And then they share it. And it's like all these people who haven't been investing or been too scared to go all in because they can't find a mentor that has a job or is balancing other things. It's like people need you to share it so they know it's possible.
Yeah. And I feel like so many people start off in that way where they're, wanting to leave that corporate space, or maybe I feel like they're either wanting to leave the corporate space or they're a stay-at-home mom who's like, all right, I'm meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry.
Exactly. And if we're trying to hide that or make it look more perfect than it is, people don't relate to us anymore. And once they start relating to us, it's this whole thing like, I don't want my clients to think that I'm perfect. I want them to look at me and go, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. I need to hire her because she has the same struggles or whatever as me, and she's doing it. So she obviously knows how to help me do it. Not, oh my God, she's so perfect. I just want to be like her,
Yes, exactly. And I feel like, when we have some of the self-induced fears or self-doubt or whatever, those are the things that like we can change our mind about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. We're choosing to see it in such a negative light. I totally agree.
Yeah, because it's like you get to believe that it's either that way or it's the other way, whatever that looks like. So you get to believe that you can do it or you get to believe that you can't do it. And until we shift those beliefs, that's exactly what it's going to be. But having a mentor or something who can show you like, yeah, I've done it. I felt that exact same way and I overcame it. I feel like that gives people a lot of hope.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think that we have to be those mentors that embrace it and look for a mentor too. That kind of crossed my mind when I said that a minute ago, because it's like, I do think sometimes it's easy to fall into the trap of trying to hire whoever looks like they have it most together or most perfect. But it has been amazing working with mentors who have been going through the same stuff as me, or who can be like, no, I actually went through that exact same thing, who are a little bit more relatable and approachable. It's been really powerful because that's helped me embrace like my real actual personality. Like if you ran into me at Target or Starbucks, like how I would actually be. And going to, events as well. Like I am shy and introverted. I am not the person that's going to strike up a conversation with people. In fact, even if you did run into me in person right now, I probably would be a little awkward, but myself. And going to events has been really cool because it just, it forces you to figure out who you really are and realize that you can be that person around other entrepreneurs or other people who are at a high level or changing their lives. But you also realize like all these people that seem polished or that you assume are perfect are not. And that's a good thing. Like they're normal.
Right. And I think that we have these, they're like our idols or, people we look up to. And I don't care if it's like the Kardashians or Jennifer Aniston or whoever we think is like picture perfect all the time. They still have the real life stuff too. They still have, self-doubt. They still have all the things that normal people have as far as feelings and emotion and fears and, like you said, family drama and all that stuff. They all have that too.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's so important that we just remember that everybody's a human. Yeah. And when we embrace our humanness, we give other people permission to as well. And people love that. That's why like maybe reality TV is not the best example because I don't think it's that real. But people love that because they see family drama, overwhelm, being stressed out in a rush. Like they see that and they can relate to that. So people like that and they like the vulnerability and they like seeing the inside. So, sharing your story, being yourself, people love that. And I've been seeing it too, like with my pregnancy right now, like with my social media, one thing for a long time I've been it's a struggle to find the balance between selling and making the sales and sharing about my offers, and also being a human and sharing my life. Mm-hmm. And I do want a brand that does both, but sharing a little bit about my like pregnancy journey and stuff like that. This might sound a little weird because this isn't my purpose, but it's boosted my engagement a lot, because it's like sharing my life and not always pitching or not always trying to be, perfect or whatever. And these aren't even like professional. I'm not getting these professional photo shoots or anything. Like, it's just like fun little pictures in my bedroom, and it's been really cool to see that, like, oh, this is actually really effective too. And people like it.
Right. Absolutely. And I think people can relate to that. They see like, oh, look at Taylor go. Like, look at her. She's pregnant and she's still doing all the things. And what's she going to change? What's she going to do different? Like, how's it going to be, now that she's pregnant, or when the baby comes? Like, everybody wants to know. But, it's like you said, it's going to be a journey.
Yeah. And, I got invited to this other podcast. I'm really excited for it. But she reaches out and she says, oh my gosh, I'd love to have you on my podcast. I think she's another like student and client. And she's like, I think it'd be so cool to hear about your plan for maternity leave. And at first I was like, oh my God, I am so not ready or good enough to be on that podcast, because I don't know, like I have no clue what to expect. And I have a couple ideas, but I don't know. And I was almost like, should I do it? I don't want to go on there and not like have good advice but the thing is I'm just gonna be embracing that. Like, what I'm about to go through, I literally have no clue, and everybody has different experiences on it, and everybody goes through that. So I'm, instead of trying to pretend I have it all together, or I know exactly what I'm going in through and how I'm gonna make $1 million and have a baby or whatever, like, I don't know what anything is gonna look like or what's gonna happen. Like, follow along, it'll be very fun.
It's going to all look different because everything will be through sleep-deprived eyes. No, at least for a while.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And instead of trying to find the right way to do it too, it's just like, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I'm going to go in with a plan and the lessons I've learned so far. But I also know, like, this is going to be a new phase of discovery,
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. But we're all going through things where we don't know what we're doing.
Right. And you know what? Every phase of like motherhood is going to be just like every phase of business. So like every year that your child becomes a year older and they have new personality and new things that they want to do in their lives, new vocabulary, new attitudes, like it's the same with your business. As you get to a new level, you have to just kind of adapt and learn how to go with it. So that's my motherly advice. Just embrace each stage and hang on to it.
Yeah. And that's something I think the universe has been showing me. Like, I do like to have a plan, and I plan as far out as I can, but I've been learning, like, have the plan and take it serious, kind of like you were saying earlier, but be willing to go with the flow too. Like, the plan is there for now. And then as you learn and grow each phase of life or motherhood, adjust. It's just adjusting. It's not starting over or that you failed or you planned the wrong thing. Like, I think a lot of people get hung up on that. Like, I was there where it's like, gosh, I just want to figure out my way, the way, have a plan, do the same thing every year. But at the same time, that's not why I started a business, and that's not fun.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to have the same year 10 times in a row. Like, so I kind of gave up on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you learn new things about yourself and about your business and about the different platforms and social media, like I just launched a Pinterest course. Yeah. And I never, ever even gave it a second thought when I was like hitting the ground running, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Pinterest wasn't even in the back of my mind. But then I finally realized, like, oh, it's kind of like this diamond in the rough. Like, this is a really good place to get some visibility. And it has been. And so then I was like, oh, duh, I should tell people about this,
Love that. Yeah. I think it's like, as you learn and grow and discover new things, the plan gets to be amplified and it gets to get even better.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of us looking at it as like starting over or we had the wrong plan before or any of that.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And, like anything, you just you get to learn all the different lessons along the way. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of choosing to learn it and make the changes or not.
Yep.
I mean, not to put it in like the most simple terms ever, but yeah, it totally is. So let's tell everybody a little bit about what Taylorly does, what it means to be a business mentor in your world.
Ooh. So what I do is
Dun, dun, dun.
I help my clients and my students grow their business. And right now where I'm at, I'm helping people go to 6 figures with some of my courses, and I'm helping students go to multiple 6 figures with my private coaching and my more group type of offers. And honestly, now I have some courses that are even geared at that level too. So what's really fun lately is I'm just like, I love doing the courses. That's like my favorite thing. I love to teach. I love to work with a lot of people. And I really do. I never would have thought this, but I love creating just communities and groups of women. Like you did Unleash, and Unleash just started a new round of it. And it's like, it's so fun. People introducing themselves and seeing how they're similar and different and helping each other and cheering each other on. Like, oh, I love that. So that's what I do.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. In a very simplified version.
I feel like, so kind of one of the things that you mentioned there was bringing women together. I feel like in this online space with so many women who are getting into becoming entrepreneurs, especially online entrepreneurs, I feel like the thing that we crave the most, that's missing the most, believe it or not, is connection.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
And I feel like getting into these groups with people who understand that starting a business, it can be hard, it can be lonely, it can be all these different things. Getting connected with people like that, like biz besties and mentors and other people, having those people kind of cheer you on. You know, like Jim Rohn, he always says you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're spending time with 5 people who don't think that your business is ever going to do anything, instead of 5 people inside of a group like this who are like, hell yeah, girl, you've got this, keep going, don't stop. Like, yeah, it was just a hiccup. Like, don't stop. Like, get out of the car, change your tire, and get back on the road.
Yes, I totally agree. And I've been in a lot of group type of programs, and I've met a lot of women in person, and I've created true friendships. And
Yes.
I think it makes it more real. You know, I think especially when you're just starting or before you've really put yourself in a community like that, it seems like there's 2 separate worlds, real life and online business life. But
Yeah.
really meeting these people, it's like, oh, like we're all doing this. We all have people who doubt us. We all have family that we're taking care of. We all have, you know, I'm in a group right now with these total badass women, like so amazing. Like I read their content and I learn from them. And then it's like, oh, like she just had to have a tough conversation with her husband too. And she just had a baby and doesn't know what she's doing either. And like,
Mm-hmm.
but then at the same time, it's like, but I can see, and the mentor running the program I'm in right now even kind of pointed this out to us. It's like, I look at her, an example of someone who just had a baby, and I'm like, she is so amazing and rocking it. And it like, this is just a phase and it's going to pass and she's going to learn so much. And like, I'm not scared for her at all. So like, why would I be scared for myself, you know?
Right.
And like, just seeing like, it's so cool. Like we get to lead each other in that way, like as we are navigating all this stuff, because we really are going through all the same things that we can feel really alone in and afraid in.
Absolutely. And, you know, people from the outside who aren't in there, you know, starting these businesses and growing these businesses in the online space, they're like, how could it possibly be lonely? There's, you know, 3 million people on Facebook. Well, it not all 3 million of those people get it.
No, exactly. And there's a very different vibe between how you're going to show up to attract clients and run your business and build your brand, of course, than how you're going to show up in a private community of some sort where you are the one being supported. Yeah. And I think it's important that we are doing both.
I think too, and I obviously don't think that, at least not for me, I don't use social media to like really air my dirty laundry or, whatever.
Right.
But I do feel like getting support and asking other people for feedback, asking them for help, asking them for love sometimes, like when it's a bad day and you just need them to send you some good positive vibes, or, getting a biz bestie who's like, all right, get it together. You've been kind of dwelling on this for too long, or whatever the situation may be. I feel like we learn so much from opening up our hearts and opening up that vulnerable place, whether we share it publicly or not. But then that creates the lesson that we can share.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes us feel more comfortable doing so. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. So I know that you have a really awesome free gift for everybody today. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yes. So the free gift that I love to share with everybody is the how to write a post that sells. And this is a workshop that I have running. And it's really cool because I wanted to make this different and very interactive. So while you're on the workshop, I'm going to take you through step by step how to write a post. So we start with the first headline all the way down to pitching your program. And if you really choose to like set aside the time and participate, you'll have one of your best posts you've ever written by the end, plus a really cool, clear understanding of how to do that over and over again. So I love that. I'm so proud of it. People freak out over it. And that is what I am gifting all of you today.
Well, let me just say, once you know how to write a good post, the magic really starts to happen. And I know because I've seen this content, it's not a post outline that says you have to post like Taylor. It's still a post that guides you into posting with your own voice and your own message in your own unique way. So I love that.
Yes, that's so important because, yeah, if we try to be someone else, it's not going to work. So I remind them through that the whole time.
I know, because how many of us are trying to be Oprah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Taylor, before we hop off here, tell us where everybody can find you.
Yeah. So the two places, if you really liked this episode today and want to learn more from me, I have my own podcast and I'm really excited for the episodes we're working on right now. So you can just find that Spotify or iTunes. You can just search Fully Free with Taylor Lee. And you'll be able to find that, which is a super easy way to follow along. And the other place I would send everybody is Instagram, which is just @_the Taylor Lee. And that's where you can kind of hang out with me on a daily basis in my stories and my posts and all of that.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for shedding so much light and insight and amazing vibes with our listeners today and taking the time out of your super busy schedule. And again, congratulations on the bun in the oven. I cannot wait to see baby Lee when she's here.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, be sure that you take some time and hop over to this amazing free gift that Taylor has provided. Show some love on Instagram and her amazing podcast that I know you'll love. And be sure that you find her in all the places. Thank you again, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you.